So as of yesterday, on October 30th, 2020, WWE started to use their superstars' Twitch accounts for them to no longer come out with other content. Superstars such as AJ Styles, Zelina Vega, Xavier Woods, and also Paige especially, that they can no longer use their Twitch accounts to connect with their fan base. Every single person that they took away their Twitch account, such as AJ Styles and Zelina Vega, came out with statements about how this isn't the end, it's only the beginning. It's not a goodbye, it's more of a see you later. But for Paige specifically, she went on in an emotional rant stating, just to summarize it, I can't deal with this company anymore. I broke my neck for this company. I haven't been wrestling since 2018, I believe 2018. And I work my butt off for this company, and this is how they repay me, by taking away the one thing that makes me become myself. And she said at the end of that statement, I'm going to be talking to my lawyers, and I will be unionizing this with the WWE.
I think that's a great idea. Union, it'll definitely rub Vince the wrong way. And if you want to get under his skin, definitely that's the way to go. However, can I ask y'all a question? Is Paige still cutting a check? This is a yes or no, answer. Okay. Is Paige still cutting the check from Vince?
Yeah, because she,
yes,
because not too long ago she signed an extension.
Okay, so you know what the deal is. That's number one. Okay, right or wrong, right? You're being categorized as an independent contractor, and clearly what you're doing, right, isn't to the overall success of WWE. So that's where this problem lies. Right, whether it's true or not, whatever way we feel about it, it rubs your employer the wrong way, right? Therefore, you must get rid of it. Now, you are cutting a check from Vince, okay? As far as I'm concerned, you have every right, right? You have every right to say, hell no, I am not going to deal with this. I'm not going to delete my Twitch account. I'm not going to let that shit go. I'm still going to do that. And then let Vince do whatever he must do. If it's fire you, if it's sue you for breach of contract, if you are that hell-bent on keeping this channel, this Twitch account, then you must be able to, deal with the consequences too. Okay? What I advise she does, right? My personal opinion, screw it. Screw it. Put all your eggs in one basket and just go for it. Ask for your release, right? And go all 100% on Twitch, because I think obviously that's what, like, you can't wrestle anymore. You already said they've taken that away from you. So okay, well, do something else, and that something else happens to be Twitch. So, and they're taking that away from you too. They took your neck away from you. They took your career away from you, and now they're taking away something that they're so small to fill that huge void, right? They're taking that away from you too. What are you gonna do about it? You just gonna sit there and cry, or are you just gonna actually just go out there and do your own thing and say, bump all that? This is I'm challenging the status quo, because the status quo is bullshit. And that's what the energy that she needs to keep. If she's going to get through this, that energy is what she's going to have to keep. I don't know if she has it in her, but that's what it's going to have to take to beat this, huge uphill battle with the WWE.
In terms of Paige, it's completely different compared to other people, like between like AJ Styles, Xavier Woods, and you said Richard, Zelina Vega, right? The difference between those three and Paige is that those three actually bring in money towards the WWE in different ways, right? Zelina Vega brings in money for WWE by uplifting their superstars in a managerial position. AJ Styles already brought money to WWE when he first debuted, and you guys already know about Xavier Woods in terms of YouTube channel and merchandise sales, et cetera, et cetera. So each of them has a certain way of bringing money to the table in terms of WWE. For Paige, not so much, because she's obviously, as you just said, Kenny, she's not currently a wrestler. She has little to nothing to do in the WWE. She's not currently promoting any superstars or bringing any merchandise, right? So what can you do? So she got Twitch. And Vince has taken that away. But guess what? Vince played her to a fiddle because she just signed an extension. So guess what? You're fucked. You signed an extension in WWE, and now you're getting turned. Your Twitch account is getting taken away by Vince himself. Now you got little nothing to do. If I was her, I would completely do what Kenny just said. Leave WWE. Just leave it. It can be a blessing in disguise if she leaves WWE. You can make a boatload of cash by doing Twitch. By doing Twitch, without question. Everybody knows that. Twitch is one of the most successful streaming services in the world. Everybody knows.
It's not a streaming service. It's a game. It's a gaming platform.
Okay. Oh, my fault. Gaming platform. Oh, good looks. But like whatever she does in Twitch, you can make bank off that, especially due to her popularity in the wrestling community, right? If I was her, I would do that. She has little to nothing to do with WWE. If I was her, I'd be like, fuck it. Screw Vince. Screw WWE. I ain't doing little to nothing over there. And I'll be my own woman. And do my own thing on Twitch.
This was something, and just to go back to the whole general purpose of this whole discussion, this was something we have been hearing WWE plan to do going back to September now. Which once that happened, at the time, former presidential candidate Andrew Yang, as we all know, called out WWE and Vince McMahon for taking away extra sources of income for their independent contractors. There's that fancy term again they like to throw out. And he has since gone on interviews with people like Chris Van Vliet discussing more about that matter and what he plans to do. But unless we do see more from Yang's side, I'm not really going to get my hopes up on that aspect of it. And you guys said already, superstars like AJ Styles and Zelina Vega and Mia Yim announced their Twitch and Mixer accounts have been closed down once this came into effect this past week. But yeah, just to get into it with Paige, no one has delivered a more telling and emotional response to this whole thing than she has. She really went at it and broke down with during a live stream where everyone was able to see her and just her, I guess, her initial reaction to the whole thing, because I guess she was looking at her phone during the stream, and she must have received a text message from someone in WWE saying that, hey, here, like a warning, you got to shut down your live stream now and get rid of your account once and for all. And she got into it with everybody. So what Paige needs to do at this point, I think, is pretty obvious. Like you guys pretty much said, I'm pretty much in that same boat with you guys, and that is to get the hell out of that company. Because the takeaway I got from all this is that she still cares about wrestling and is still very much passionate about it, and also that she is growing more and more miserable being with WWE. But a reason that I can see prevent her from doing anything soon is her paycheck, which is a guaranteed source of income. And that could be a legitimate reason why she wouldn't be so quick to just leave.
To fix that, I'm sorry, Kenny, but that's the thing. That's the only reason she's in WWE. She needs that paper.
But hold up a minute, guys. Okay, because this is very important. Okay, you can't say, right? I mean, you can, but from an optics standpoint, you have to realize she's in a very, very, very tough situation. Okay. And in order for you to get what you want, you have to strip yourself of that income that WWE is giving you.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's not easy for everybody.
Right. It's not easy for everybody. Right. But my thing is this. If you are not willing to make that sacrifice, okay, if you are not willing to rid yourself of that fucking, burden that is, the E, then you can't sit there and cry about it because you're not getting what you want. This is your employer, okay? You are getting a paycheck from this company. If you want, right, to sever your ties with them, do it. But you can't sit there and cry and then turn around and collect a paycheck right? And act like they're the bad guys.
Didn't
That's
stop
my
certain
problem
other
with
talents from
this.
doing that same
That
thing.
that is my problem with this whole thing. It's that all of you, right, have an option. Yeah, you know, you might like if you quit, you might be in breach of contract, right? But for Paige, it's different. She's not wrestling anymore. Sever your ties with Vince, go to AEW, collect a check from them, right? And then restart your Twitch account back.
That's if she gets cleared from other wrestling promotions to allow her to compete. Because
No,
that is-
No. She doesn't have to.
She doesn't have to compete.
She doesn't have to compete. She can be a manager or a backstage producer.
A manager,
she can do all that.
Producer, right.
She can do all that. And she's
Okay.
cool. And like what Kenny said, if she went to any other wrestling company, it could be Ring of Honor, it could be TNA, it could be AEW. As long as she's with any other wrestling promotion that allows her to do work in the company and still keep her Twitch account, she'll be fine. Because obviously the Twitch account was a side hustle for her. The WWE is her main hustle, right? Now, based on what Kenny was saying, Paige has to look in the mirror and be like, yo, am I willing to sacrifice thousands of dollars to go back to the back burner of what I was before? That's the question she has to realize. If she understands that powerful question that she has to face and might honestly have to do, you're basically starting over, right? You're literally you're starting over, right? But in my opinion, if she were to leave WWE, I'm pretty confident she'll go to any other wrestling company and they will automatically hire her because she's
a big name.
Exactly, she has the validation, the cachet to go with it, and especially in AEW because she knows niggas in AEW. Obviously, Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes, Golda, she knows them personally.
If she went to AEW, they will hire her in a heartbeat.
No, Richard, anybody would hire her.
No,
anybody
that's what I'm saying.
will hire her. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You can't cry, bitch, and moan on Twitch on a live stream and then collect the next check the next day at WWE. You look like a total hypocrite.
Of course.
You look like a total hypocrite, and based on what you cried, bitch, and moan about means nothing.
Of course, I understand that 100%. When I mentioned it, I was just throwing it out there because you don't know what they're thinking. None of us know what she's really thinking. Like, I guess we did, but we don't know like what else is going on in her mind and what she wants to do with all the circumstances. But I'm just saying, nothing is guaranteed once she does part ways with WWE. That's why I don't think it's that easy for her to just go ahead and consider everything without considering everything and just severing ties with them and going off to a different promotion.
I'll say this to end it. Nothing is easy in this world, but if you make the noble sacrifices that you know you might have to make or possibly have to face, it will possibly lead to the result that you might either end up having successfully or miserably. She has to truly understand that choice and has to be ready for it. If not, keep your mouth shut, do what you have to do in WWE, collect that check, and go on with your business.
That's right. And like I mentioned briefly earlier in this discussion, we've seen no shortage of talents doing the exact same thing, complaining and whining on Twitter while also just collecting that WWE paycheck.
You don't hear AJ Styles, you don't hear Selena Vega, you don't hear Xavier Woods. That's what I'm saying.
Yep. And with that, welcome to episode 42 of the Wrestling Hypothesis podcast, here for your Sunday, November 1st, 2020. Hope everyone is doing well and enjoyed their Halloween. Of course, we are recording this on Halloween morning, but you guys are going to be hearing this the very next day, so that's why I say that. I'm DB, of course. Joining me as always is Richard.
Hello, everyone.
Ricardo.
What's up? I'm gonna cop a Snickers bag later today at Walgreens because I love me some Snickers.
Right,
talk.
because you need to say that, right, to interrupt my introduction.
Of course, bro. That's what I do.
Yeah.
What I do.
Yeah.
Any opportunity gets to do that, man. And King
Kenny.
Kenny.
You see, Abba knows.
And he's still talking. He's still talking.
Exactly. It's what I do.
What's up? I'm here. Let's go.
Yeah. As you guys know, this podcast is available to listen to on various different platforms out there, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Breaker, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, and our own YouTube channel. For those who missed it, a new extra went up on the YouTube channel this past Wednesday, where me, Kenny, and Lawrence, our special guest for the show, it was his own debut on our extra show, though he's made 2 previous appearances for those of you who've stuck around on the show properly. So a big thanks again to Lawrence, and hopefully we can have him back on the show again soon.
Shout out to L for that one, man. Real MVP.
Yep.
No offense, Ricardo.
No offense to me. I was the one that brought him on the goddamn show. But okay.
Yeah, I mean, you made that happen.
Okay,
right?
all right. Yeah, you know what? Fine. We'll give you credit for that.
Yeah.
But he still has to say yes. Okay.
No,
So-
of course.
You still have to say yes.
Of course.
Always something, man. We all discussed a recap of last weekend's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, specifically the cell matches, and we got into things like Roman Reigns and his continued success in this new heel character. What's next for Sasha Banks, the new SmackDown Women's Champion, and also Randy Orton becoming a 14-time world champion by beating Drew McIntyre, and why some of us aren't really big on the idea.
Oh, wait,
We also gave our thoughts on WWE.
but I'm sorry, Alba. I want to say something just quick before I cut you off. I got no issues with Randy Orton being 14-time champion because I focus with Randy Orton personally. I'm not gonna hold you, but Roman Reigns. I'm in love with that nigga, and I don't give a fuck. That dude right there. Shut up. That dude right there, Roman Reigns. Oh my God.
Okay.
The tribal chief.
First of all,
Tribal
pause.
chief.
First of all, pause. Second of all, we are not talking about this right now, man. You just interrupted again.
I'm sorry.
Within the introduction.
I had to get it out,
Again.
bro.
You can't do that, man. Come on.
I had to get it out, bro.
My goodness.
The tribal chief.
My God, someone get him a Snickers, okay?
Right.
And soon I'm gonna get his t-shirt. Both of them.
Look, we have a SmackDown segment. You can talk about Roman all you want when we get there. Okay.
I will.
Abba, please continue.
Thank you, good sir. We also gave our thoughts on WWE not including NXT in this year's Survivor Series and why it really isn't the end of the world, if you think about it. So you guys know what you have to do. Check out episode 13 of Extra. Went up on the YouTube channel. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, especially subscribe. If you are listening via Apple Podcasts, please be sure to give us a star rating on there, as well as feedback on what you think of our show. We need to rack up those 5 stars already, so let's get to it, guys. And if you haven't done so already, you can check out any of our older episodes in the archives using any of the platforms I just mentioned earlier, as well as visiting our own website, anchor.fm/wrestling-hypothesis. Continuing on with the rest of the show, yesterday, it was announced that Pac will be returning to AEW Dynamite this upcoming Wednesday night. This will be his first appearance on the show since a video package was put out teasing something with him feuding with someone else. I believe it was Darby Allin at the time earlier this year, although it wasn't really followed up on. He wasn't able to be on Dynamite, as we all know, since he lives over in the UK, and travel restrictions made it virtually impossible for him to be on these shows, so he wasn't being used. Now, with their Full Gear pay-per-view taking place next weekend, I can see him getting involved in the TNT Championship mix, calling out the winner of the Cody Darby Allin match at Full Gear on Wednesday once he comes back, saying that they better watch their backs before assaulting whoever the winner of that title match will be. I'm assuming it'll be Cody after the match takes place at the pay-per-view, and that will set up the next title program for the TNT Championship heading into the winter months. What do you guys think about that?
Let me tell y'all something. If this dude Pac challenges for the TNT title, he better damn sure win it. Because we're gonna have a problem if this man doesn't win a championship if he goes for it this early on when he comes back. Okay? We have been clamoring for months for Pac. And we finally get Pac back on AEW Dynamite. And you know, the only reason, I personally believe, the only reason why this Eddie Kingston phase, right, is going is because Pac was non-existent on Dynamite. So for me, not only do you get a main event player back, and he is a true main eventer. See, we ain't talking about fringe main eventer, flirting with the main eventer like Eddie Kingston, like Orange Cassidy. No, bump that. This is a real, legit star that we're getting back for AEW. So I think it's a great addition to their bottom line, and I can't wait, man. I cannot wait. The idea for the TNT champion, that's great. However, I mean, I feel like he needs, some sort of wins on his belt just to get that. But this is Pac we're talking about. Okay, he ain't a scrub, man. He's easily, like, if you can argue, he's definitely top 5 in the company. So for me, I wouldn't have any problems with him going after Cody. But the only thing is that Cody will lose to Pac. He has to, right?
Can I say something? I have no problem going for Pac, whatever you want to say, going after Cody for the TNT title. I have no problems with that. Hell, I won't even have a problem if he goes after Jon Moxley for the AEW World title, because he's facing Eddie Kingston. Pac's gonna say, like, so Eddie Kingston, so you mean to tell me you take my guys that I remember, he had the Death Triangle before he left. You're gonna take my guys to use my guys to influence you to get a world title shot when you know damn well it should have been me. You see what I'm saying? So it might not even, he might be looking at Cody. He might be looking at Jon Moxley and going after his world championship into the winter month and so on and so forth.
See, before we move on to Ricardo, y'all must have forgot, okay, who Pac was before he had the idea. So let me remind y'all, this is the same man, right? This is the same man that guys left and right were getting title shots, but this man wasn't. And he made that very, very clear that, hey, listen, I'm better than these guys. I got a higher ranking than these guys. And they get in title matches instead of me. Imagine the hunger, the drive, the focus that he's going to have when he comes back finally into a wrestling ring where he belongs. Oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be fantastic, man. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
It's going to be a great time for Pac the minute he comes back.
For Pac, look, gentlemen, from a talent perspective, you can make a legitimate argument Pac is number 1 in the company. From a talent perspective, his athleticism, cachet, his technical ability when he wants to, elite.
Mike skills too.
Oh, Mike skills, I forgot about that. Mike skills too. Yes. He's underrated. By the way, he's underrated. He's very underrated on Mike skills.
Extremely.
It is time to have a new face for the TNT title. It is time. I fucks with Cody. Don't get me wrong. I fucks with Cody. But I'm sick and tired of seeing this back and forth between him, Brody Lee, and any other person Darby Allin. Thank you. I need a new face. I need a new face for the TNT title. And who's better becoming a face than a Hungry? Hungry. I'm talking about the part that he's starving. Like he's feeling homeless, wanting for his shit, wanting for his shine. Title. Pac is the perfect guy for the TNT title. Hell, I won't even have a problem he has it for a year long, because he's that capable of having the TNT title for that long period of time. Now,
he's too hungry, man.
It's extremely hungry. Now, for the AEW World title, would I like to go up to the AEW title? No problem. No problem at all. Right? I would like to see him in a match against Jon Moxley or any of the main event guys in the scene, like a Kenny Omega, like a Paige, etc. But for but like I said, timing is everything. The right time for him to shine is the TNT title, and long behold, in the future, he might make the TNT title even more relevant, better than the AEW World title in the future. And
here's the thing, because I know the cleaner Kenny Omega has the AEW title on lock. I think
Yes.
we all know that, right? Like we can
no
all
question.
agree that man has it on lock.
Yeah.
However, the only man that I'll take over Kenny Omega, right? Being the AEW World Champion is Pac.
Okay.
That's the only guy I'll accept. Okay. However, I just don't think it's attainable right now, given the circumstances, and given who the cleaner has ran through. Like he's gonna run through everybody. And like I said last week, if he runs through, like he should run through Paige too. If he runs through Paige, that's it. That's like the ultimate nod right there for you to go up against Jon Moxley and win the title. So I do think it's a little bit early. However, yeah, like you alluded to, Ricardo, him, fighting for the TNT title, he's like, think about it, guys. This man has a title, and he still wants more. He's still hungry. You know what I mean? Like you don't see that often. Many times guys get the title, they feel, they're complacent, they fade into the background, but this ain't gonna be like that. This ain't gonna be like that, man. And Cody has had a stronghold on the TNT title for a long time, and I get it. As great as he is, right? We can easily get lost in the things that he does, but
it's all about establishment, man.
Right? But the writing is on the wall, man. The clock is ticking. Okay, Brody Lee was a great adversary for Cody, but I believe Pac can be even greater.
I have a question. Wait, Abba, I have a question after Abba goes.
I just wanted to just put a cap into it, but go ahead, man.
Okay, my question to y'all is, because like obviously everyone knows that he's a heel. We already know that flat out, right? Right. Do you think that they would put why are you shaking your head for?
Because I think you're about to say something so
he knows what's
blasphemous,
coming.
man.
No. It's not,
Go ahead.
What do you think? I'm talking about the ranking system,
right?
For the TNT title, because like I feel like if they put Pac as the TNT champion, right? I think it'll be necessary for them to put back the ranking system for the TNT title, because like I feel like when it was with Cody, I feel like it was Cody's role to use the TNT title as a crutch to bring in new stars, obviously, right? But I think it is like for Pac, the fact that due to his persona, he might bring back or force their hand to bring up the ranking system. Could be like, yo, you have to earn your way to the TNT title, right? Because Pac has been there since day one, and he hasn't earned anything until possibly now coming up for the TNT title. Do you think they need to bring back the ranking system when Pac becomes TNT champion? Your thoughts?
Can I say about the ranking system? Like in past history, even with the world title, they kind of clearly didn't pay attention that much to the ranking system, because not too long ago they were just picking and choosing people from the ranking system just to face Jon Moxley for the AEW championship. You see what I'm saying? So and plus for the ranking system right now, I looked at the ranking system yesterday. It's together. Both the AEW world title and the TNT title. The rankings are shared. They're not separate. They're shared.
Oh, damn. I didn't know that.
Ranking system doesn't even matter to the TNT title.
Oh, it just bumps that.
It's like obsolete.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that.
Exactly. And I wanted to bring up this point that honestly, it probably doesn't even matter anyways.
It doesn't matter.
The ranking system needs to be a concept that you're all in, or just don't even bother doing it, regardless of the title. Because they seem to have shown that they don't care much for the.
Okay. So I believe that we've kind of misconstrued what the ranking system does. Okay, so allow me to explain it in a better way. So the ranking system, right? Like if you're ranked number one, that doesn't necessarily mean you're the number one contender.
Yeah.
First of all, the ranking system is stupid. Okay, it's stupid. It only serves, right, as a stepping stone or some sorts, right, to get a better understanding of what the state of affairs is, at least in one's division, right? So if you're number one, right? Let's say you're number one, right? And you fight a guy that's number two, right? And the guy that's number two beats you. Does that mean you lose your number one spot?
Not really.
Or right,
No.
if you're number one and you fight the champion, right, and you lose, do you lose your number one spot? You know what I mean? So like these things we don't know how they play into account. Like there's no metric, right? To actually, like they don't give us any metrics to measure who's number one or to determine who's number one, who's number two, right, or anything like that. So if you're number one, right, you're not necessarily the number one contender, because it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. I wish it worked like that, but it doesn't. It's more, it serves as a crutch to I guess validate your position within the company more than it is actual like ranking, like this is your place, this is your, because we've seen the number 3, the number 4, the number 5 ranked guy fight for the title, or the ranked team fight for the title. Sometimes unranked teams fight for the title. So it's really like, don't read too much into it. I think it has more to do about record and your length of dominance more than your actual you actually deserving the title.
Okay.
Brilliantly said. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. There's really no true merit to winning these titles other than like maybe momentum, just to like show the audience, hey, look, this guy's racking up wins, or this guy hasn't been winning as much. So either care for this person or don't at all, like depending on how they're doing in the rankings. So that's pretty much what it is. And as for Pac, just to close it out in this segment, I definitely agree with you guys. I think he could be doing so much more. I mean, well, pre-pandemic, of course, when he was there, but honestly, he has never failed in any role that from what I recall, his time in WWE and what they were giving him doing, he was always knocking it out of the park. Even though he didn't really show much of his character and his personality until he turned heel and started becoming the Grinch that we all know and love, the high-flying Grinch. So, I am looking forward to it. He has been very, very missed, being a part of a wrestling company. That was pretty terrible. I know.
That was awful. He's not the Grinch. He's the Boston. That's what he is. That's what he said, just like that.
Let's fucking move on, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Two corny ass names.
Moving on here. Go ahead, Rich.
So next is Daniel Bryan. So for Daniel Bryan, last week, if nobody watched the network, last week he said that he announced that this is his final run as a full-time WWE superstar. As we already know, his time is like winding down very, very quick. So the question for you all, starting with Kenny, is Daniel Bryan, once he's done being full-time, is he a front runner for the Hall of Fame? Starting with Kenny.
Well, I think the right question is he a first ballot?
First ballot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was
First ballot.
huge difference.
First ballot. Big
Okay.
difference.
All right, Rich. It's first ballot. Okay. So please repeat the question so we can make it official.
Exactly. Repeat the
Daniel,
question.
is Daniel Bryan a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Thank
Front
you.
runner Hall of Famer. Who says that? Who says that?
That's a completely different question.
Well, okay.
Exactly.
It is because there are levels to that question.
Exactly.
Daniel Bryan, as great as this man is, and we all know how great Daniel Bryan is, I don't need to even read his resume for y'all. Okay. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? The answer is no. And it pains me to say that about this man, because he is he's had a different career than anyone that's ever been on top before. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like if you've had the title for a significant amount of time, or if you've achieved a level of status that is larger than life, as they like to say, it's really hard for you not to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? Like a guy like CM Punk, right? When he left, could you put him into the Hall of Fame the next day? Because to me, that's what a first ballot Hall of Famer is. It's that if he or she were to retire today, will they be in the Hall of Fame tomorrow, or could they be in the Hall of Fame tomorrow? Now that we've gotten that out of the way, Daniel Bryan, I believe, doesn't have the resume, right, to be a first ballot Hall of Famer right now, because he needs to do more. Okay. Now, I can give you a few names, right, that would categorize as a first ballot Hall of Famer, right?
Oh, I
Randy Orton
yes.
is considered a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay. Edge, when he retired, is a first ballot Hall of Famer. But you know why people had a problem with Edge getting into the Hall of Fame? Because that motherfucker was too young. He was so young. He
That
was
wasn't my problem.
Hold up. What was your problem with Edge?
No. My problem with Edge, it wasn't because that he was too young. It's just like,
What was it?
No, I'm about to say it.
Right.
My problem with Edge is that, like, when he retired, he did it like months ahead. I thought like he should have waited. I thought for them they would have waited, but it's whatever.
Right. No, I mean, listen, yeah, exactly. And everybody felt like it was rushed.
Yeah.
And, he retired
It was
WrestleMania.
It was entirely rushed.
But hold up. But it was a year though, right? Like I think he retired. When did he retire? After WrestleMania?
2011, after WrestleMania that year. 2012 Hall of Fame class.
Right.
He was inducted.
So it was a year later. Right? Because WrestleManias are a year apart. Okay. Yeah, and the Hall of Fame happens on WrestleMania week. So it was a year apart. Okay. It wasn't like like 6 months apart. But anyway, okay. Edge got into the Hall of Fame. He's a first ballot Hall of Fame. A 14-time world champion. You can't not put him in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? So
he's 14-time. I think it's like,
isn't he?
I think it's 12 or 11.
Nah, he's 12.
12, 11,
something like that. Yeah.
He's double digits.
Whatever. Go ahead, man.
Double digits. Okay.
Yeah.
He deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay. Cena, when he finally retires, first ballot Hall of Famer. Easy.
Taker.
No question.
Right. Taker. Right. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame next year.
Okay.
Right. Like, I mean, come on. So all those names I just mentioned, all the guys that haven't, called it quits yet, right? Like at least officially, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at Daniel Bryan, right? Is his career comparable to John Cena's career? The answer is no.
He doesn't have
the
the
answer is
longevity.
no. Right, exactly. And that's why I believe that he needs Daniel Bryan, in order to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, you got to give me at least 8 world title reigns. You got to give me at least a Royal Rumble win. You got to give me quality over and he does have a lot of quality, right? He has quality, but for only a number of years. Daniel Bryan's being on top is probably maybe like not even a year total when you accumulate all the quality wins that he had, right? He had a quality year, right? But he didn't have quality years, right? And for me, that's the definition of what it means to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? Daniel Bryan did change, right? He did change the game to some degree, like for smaller guys, right? But that's not enough to me, right? It's one thing to change the game. It's another thing to change the game and then, continue that length of dominance. And for me, that length of dominance is what's lacking. I just don't believe he's had enough quality wins for me to say, okay, first ballot. If you retire tomorrow, you'll get inducted the next day. I'd put you in. And I just don't believe he's in the same Hall of Fame room, right, with Hulk Hogan, with Cena, with Stone Cold. Like those guys are first ballot. With Rock, you know, like come on, with Ric Flair, dude. There are levels to this.
I want to hear this. I want before I go. I want to hear Albert.
Right.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
There are levels to this, Kenny. So I'm going to get this little tidbit out of the way first before I say my piece on this discussion. Daniel Bryan just so happens to be one of my all-time favorites to watch in wrestling ever. But I can think that way and still say that Bryan is not the kind to headline a Hall of Fame class or be a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? I'm sure of that. So let me give you a brief rundown of why Daniel Bryan is awesome. Kenny doesn't want to say his resume. I will gladly do so. Multiple-time world champion. Headline WrestleMania 30 with one of the best slow burn storylines in Fighting the Authority in modern WWE history. Has given me, at least, I don't know about you guys, but has given me some of the best wrestling matches of the 2010s. His matches with AJ Styles, with CM Punk, with John Cena, with Randy Orton, with Brock Lesnar, and so on and so forth. This is the type of talent where he can have a good to great match with literally anyone. This guy, I honestly think, can get a solid match out of Michael Cole if he wanted to. He is in that elite category of wrestlers that can do such things. And he is, besides, names like Kenny Omega and AJ Styles in the category. Easy. That can do such thing. He has also elevated so much of the current talent in the past few years, from Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania last year to Adam Cole, and his recent WWE title reign last year was my favorite world title reign in WWE in a long ass time. I can't remember a time where I cared so much about, where I was so invested in a world title reign, just purely WWE, that, you know, just had me on the edge of my seat, caring so much about who he was feuding with and what he was doing, and just elevating everybody that he was getting into contact with. And listen, I can continue going on and on because, you know, it's just that easy for me to do so, seeing as how I have been pretty much watching WWE since Daniel Bryan began in the company. And so I've been on his whole, I've been watching pretty much his whole career trajectory with WWE. So I can continue going on, but I know his value and his importance. He was touted alongside CM Punk as, from what I remember, as the next John Cena, the next face of the WWE before Roman Reigns came about. And I get it. Circumstances were different because that wasn't really going to come to fruition because of the fact that he was so injury prone. And so I see Kenny laughing. So what's up?
Oh no, wait, Kenny, I got this. Oh, wait, Kenny, I got this. Go ahead, finish that. Go ahead, Albert.
Well, I pretty much said my piece. That is why I think Daniel Bryan is easily a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Okay. Albert, you made great points about Daniel Bryan. Very solid points about Daniel Bryan. I gotta disagree with you, bro. Here's why. About him being a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is a Hall of Famer. He ain't a first ballot Hall of Famer. If there was, to be honest with you, if there was one person, based on what Kenny said about dominance, the GOAT Charlotte Flair is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay? First ballots. Okay? The GOAT. She retires today. She gets in tomorrow. No, not even tomorrow. She gets in the first. She gets in the first hour. She retires. Okay? Now, let's get that out the way. Now, to the Hall of Fame. Everybody knows how I feel about the Hall of Fame. There is no criteria for the WWE Hall of Fame, right? There is no criteria about the Hall of Fame in terms of what it represents.
Yeah, that's why discussions like this are just more complicated than they have to be.
No, not really. But no, not really. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
You know why it's not complicated? Because it's right? We know there's no criteria for it.
We know that.
And we're acknowledging that. So Daniel Bryan will in fact get in first,
exactly
first year.
He'll get in.
If he retires today, right? He'll get in tomorrow, right? Reality,
Exactly.
right?
That's
But
reality.
do we
But this
feel?
is,
Do we feel
that? Yeah.
like he deserves to be in his first go? Like we're actually
Yeah.
we have standards, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
We have standards.
Yeah.
They can choose not to have, but we do. We have standards.
Okay.
So-
Now, exactly. All right. So to continue my point, I will base on everything that you just said about his accolades is on the money. But this is my criteria for the Hall of Fame. Besides the accolades, what has Daniel Bryan done outside of WWE?
Define outside of WWE. What do you mean?
Compared to a Rock, Austin, Hogan, and Cena, what has he done?
You
Outside
mean,
the
I'm
WWE.
sorry. You mean those larger than life talents, those larger than life superstars
Nope.
with their
Nope.
out of this world personalities?
Okay. So
Daniel Bryan is a relative everyman, dude.
Okay, wait. I got him, Kenny. I got him. So you mean to tell me, he's like, out of these world personalities, last time I checked, Daniel Bryan's personality could fit me. Last time I checked, any person with Daniel Bryan's personality is relatable to Daniel Bryan himself. Okay? Last time I checked, what The Rock did for in and out of WWE, he made a gateway to all the wrestlers in WWE that they can have an acting career outside of WWE. What Austin did for the Attitude Era is endless. Everybody knows about the Attitude Era. That's what he did. What Taker did for the WWE, in and out, based on longevity, in and out of WWE, is endless. Hulk Hogan, what he did for WWE, brought to the WWE at the time in the 80s to another stratosphere, right?
Made that shit mainstream.
Exactly. Hulk Hogan if there was one person that made the WWE mainstream, it was Hulk Hogan. He was the first person that did it.
I am not denying that. I am not denying that.
Okay.
Hold up, though. But Ricardo, you're comparing him to literally the greatest to ever do it.
I get it.
Like,
No. But what I'm saying is for the Hall of Fame, I look at things of what you first ballot is what you do in and out of the WWE. Right?
Okay.
WWE got so much projects in terms of cancer, in terms of Make-A-Wish, in terms of this, that.
He's a charitable guy. He's a charitable guy, though.
Yep, he contributes.
Yes. No, he does. And I'm not knocking that. Right? But I'm saying, like, when you retire, what did you leave on the table?
Okay.
Right?
Well, you want me to tell you what he left on the table? Let me tell you this. Daniel Bryan has influenced the most of the modern generation of talent, if we're being honest. Daniel Bryan was considered a wrestling legend on the independent scene before he even stepped foot in WWE. We're talking the 2000s. He was having some of the greatest matches of the 2000s decade, all around the world, in Japan and Ring of Honor in the States. He was doing all of this before WWE was even a thought in anybody's head that he would go there. And then he came to WWE, and then he blew up here.
Okay. But here's the crux of that. No one is when he was wrestling I'm not to say what he did back in the day, but to be honest with you, nobody's looking at that.
Nobody's looking at that anymore.
No. Nobody's looking at that due to the fact is pretty much as at times what Kenny says. What have you done for me lately that makes me signify to look at you that you're in the Hall of Fame first ballot tomorrow?
Okay. And what did I say before? Do you remember what I said? The first thing I said when I introduced everything. Daniel Bryan influenced the modern generation of wrestlers today. He did.
I can say that for a plethora of other wrestlers.
Like who?
I can say that for others.
Like who?
I can say that for Kenny Omega. I can say that to him.
Kenny Omega's a living wrestling legend. Your point?
I can say that about, but what I'm saying is about Kenny Omega has a better chance of getting in the Hall of Fame tomorrow than Daniel Bryan.
We're talking the WWE Hall of Fame. Or are we talking just our own Hall of Fames, like in wrestling period?
But listen. Even if Kenny Omega was in WWE, based on his resume, he's more first ballot than Daniel Bryan. That's a fact.
Okay, but let me stop you right there. What are you basing that off of exactly? What's the criteria? Look at his accolades, Kenny Omega's accolades. He didn't do all that much in AEW up to this point. He hasn't won a world title yet. He hasn't won any championship. So what are you basing that off of?
He hasn't won any championship. He hasn't done this. He hasn't done that. But you said Daniel Bryan, based on your argument, you said he changed the game. That's what you said. All right.
And I stand by it.
Did Kenny Omega change the game better than did Kenny Omega change the game better than
Kenny Omega changed the game in terms of, I want to say this right. Kenny Omega changed the game in terms of proving to the WWE, proving to future wrestling talent and modern day wrestling talent that it is 100% possible and feasible to get yourself over like you would in WWE outside without ever signing pen to paper for them.
I'm sorry, man, but that's greater than anything Daniel Bryan ever did.
Exactly. Thank
really?
You. That's my point.
You mean so you're saying that influencing the modern wrestling generation is not important?
Yes.
You know,
their wrestling styles. Because Daniel Bryan did exactly that.
Hold up. Let me take over here, Ricardo.
Bro,
influencing the next generation is a great thing. It's an admirable thing. However, if Daniel Bryan didn't exist, somebody else would have influenced the modern generation. So it's not like it's not. We're not talking about right. And you know, not to take away from what he actually did, right? But I can tell you, I can give you names of guys that influenced this generation or the next generation.
A lot.
Okay.
You can name a lot.
What I'm telling you, right, is that Kenny Omega did something that no one even like. Look, okay, let me put this into perspective. There are many guys that came and influenced the generation after them.
Yes.
Nobody, right? This is the greatness of what Kenny Omega did. Nobody has ever been able to make it as big outside of the WWE.
Can I say something?
Ask him.
Exactly.
That no one in the history of humankind. Okay.
That's right.
That's what he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
So I know you guys are discussing Kenny Omega. And also to add to Kenny's point, right? Back when he was in Japan, was it plausible at the time? Remember when he was with Kota Ibushi?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, and you know how in today's generation now, such as Sonny Kiss being in AEW, was it plausible back then when he was in AEW? Was it plausible that Kenny Omega broke barriers in terms of LGBTQ wrestlers getting into that community of wrestling? You see what I'm saying?
Based on
well, guess what? First ballot. Wait. Go ahead.
Hold on. Like he also broke. I'm not saying that Daniel Bryan broke barriers. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Kenny Omega's broken barriers was more impactful and enhanced than Daniel Bryan. What I say is Daniel Bryan a first ballot Hall of Famer? For my opinion, I say yes because of due to his credentials and everything like that. It was only I'm only going off
accolades.
Yes, his accolades and his body of work. By your body of work proves to me if this Hall of Famer. Because remember, we saw Daniel Bryan grow from when he was 2013, from early NXT when he was with The Miz. He got with Brie. He was with Nexus for a small period of time, broke up, became his own star. 2014, he beat Evolution in one night. And further down the line, he tagged him with Kane and he got into one of the best heel runs last year. Remember how this year Roman Reigns is the talk of the town? Last year, Daniel Bryan was in this exact same spot as the Planet's champion at this time last year.
Hold up. Let me stop you right there. I understand. We all know what he's done throughout the 7 years. I get it. Listen to me. I get what he's done for the 7 years that and because you said 2013 on. I get it, right? But what I'm in terms of Hall of Fame is that, like, based on what you're saying, based on accolades, I understand he's in the Hall of Fame. Everybody knows that because it's reality. But I'm talking about what did he did differently to get him in the Hall of Fame as first ballot. That's my question personally. That's my personal question. Because
outside of WWE, he hasn't done anything profound as much. Hold on.
He doesn't need to.
But you also have to put this into perspective. This is WWE we're talking about. Sometimes they don't really go. Just sometimes when it comes to put in Hall of Famers, they don't really look at outside of what they did. Sometimes they just look inside of WWE.
What?
I said sometimes. I said not all the time. I said sometimes.
WWE looks at everything.
No, they look at everything, but sometimes, specifically on certain people, like they sometimes don't go outside of WWE. I just said sometimes. For Bryan, most likely, I think they're gonna look at what he did inside WWE.
Whenever someone gets into the Hall of Fame, WWE looks at everything.
No,
Hold up. The whole 9 yards, basically on what he or she did throughout their wrestling career.
I know
Okay?
what you
No.
I know what you
No.
Yes, they do. Yes, they
No.
do.
No,
Yes, they
if
do.
someone who had a prolonged pro wrestling career on the independent scene, they're barely going to look at that. It just depends on the company they're looking at.
And also,
they're not going to place an emphasis on that. It all matters what they did in the E.
And plus another thing. I'll give you an example. An example. Last year, mad people was shitting on WWE. Oh, why the fuck did Tori wasn't in WWE? What the fuck did she do outside WWE? Did they look at outside? No. All they did was put a hot female that did nothing in the E and just put her in there.
Okay, hold up. That was okay. Whoa. That was stop. That was a terrible example because we're talking about Daniel Bryan here.
We're talking about first ballot Hall of Famers.
First ballot.
I know we're talking about first ballot, but for Daniel Bryan specifically, they're looking what he did in the E. He didn't do as much outside. But for Daniel Bryan, they're only going to look at what he did in the E. And that's it. If Daniel Bryan retired tomorrow, next year's class, they'll put him right in there because they did the same thing to Edge. He retired that 2010. They put him for 2011.
First of all, I don't know what the hell you're watching because Edge's career was way greater than anything Daniel Bryan put together in the 2 years that he was on top. So what are we talking about here?
Exactly.
Don't say 2 years. He was greatness for almost all of it. He was greatness for a full decade.
On top.
He's talking about on top, bro. On top.
Yeah, and I'm talking greatness for 10 years.
See.
Oh my Lord.
This thing makes me sick, man. It makes me sick to myself. And you know why?
Why is that?
Because you can be great. We have a lot of great wrestlers. Okay? But what do you do that separates you from the rest?
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. And that's what I was saying.
Bro, everyone can be great at their jobs. But if everyone is great, how the fuck do you measure who deserves what?
Exactly.
Because not everybody's Daniel Bryan, dude. No one had that level of charisma, that level of talent in the ring, that level of elevating others.
Bro, hold on. I can give you 5 guys that are better than Daniel Bryan in the ring. That are better than him on the mic. What are you talking about?
Should I challenge you? Let's hear it.
Adam Cole. You serious?
In the ring. Let's hear it.
In the ring.
Who's better?
Adam Cole. Finn Balor is better than Daniel.
Continue.
Yes.
Yes,
no.
he is. Yes,
no.
he is.
Exponentially better.
You're out your damn mind.
Way
What are you
better.
talking about? Finn Balor's better than Daniel Bryan. Are you serious? Absolutely not.
Look.
I
know you're a Daniel Bryan fan or whatever the case may be, right? But even you have to admit it that there are levels to this. Finn Balor, watching a Finn Balor match, Finn Balor's better. Just based on the eye test alone, your eyes don't just like.
How about this,
eyes
Kenny? How about
never
this, Kenny?
lie.
Kenny, how
Unless
about this?
you have,
Johnny
respectfully
eye
disagree.
problems.
Go ahead.
Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Gargano's better.
Johnny Gargano could go toe-to-toe with Daniel Bryan. I will admit that.
What
He's
about
better.
Ciampa? Ciampa's better.
Ciampa's not a better wrestler.
That I can't. I mean, I don't have any opinion about that. Kenny Omega, obviously.
Okay, you want to say Kenny Omega? That's fine.
Paige, Hangman Paige.
No.
Oh, that's
an interesting. That's an interesting one. But I would still say no.
But I'll put Pac there.
Okay, I got no problem with that. Pac,
I just gave you 5 guys. There you go. There
Oh,
you
so
go.
that's it. Oh, so that's it then. He's not a first
No.
ballot Hall of Famer, just because
No,
of that.
Look,
No,
Look,
because you don't
look,
need
no,
to.
no, 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 no.
What-
That's not what.
No.
That's not the main point. Okay, okay. The main point isn't to name 5 guys that are better than Daniel Bryan and then say he's not a first ballot Hall of Fame. No, the point is right. The point is Daniel Bryan to me, right? He may have been great for his whole career. Okay, but I'm looking for the moments that are, that literally separated him from the rest, which were like 2 years, maybe. You know what? 2.5, just to be nice. Okay. Like for like 2.5 years, he was, better than great. Right. He was the whole show. Okay. I can't, right, sit there and say he's a first ballot Hall of Famer based on that. Yeah, he had the accolades, but did you give me quality wins though?
Exactly.
Did you give me quality wins? Like
He gave you quality elevations, dude.
Quality elevations.
What the hell is
Quality
that?
elevations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
What the hell is that? Enlighten me. What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
When Daniel Bryan, win or lose, Daniel Bryan was elevating people. Maybe at that point it was maybe that one night, yes. But I'm talking like it sucks that WWE doesn't like follow through on these wins. But let me tell you, when you beat Daniel Bryan, it's a big fucking deal. At the back end of a great match, absolutely. It's a big deal.
It was a big deal. It was a big deal when he was something. Okay. And in that span,
boy.
after he beat, the Authority and everything like that, that's when he became someone. That's when he was like, oh shit, oh yeah. This is, I mean, the events leading up to it, obviously, right? Beating Randy. I think he beat Roman Reigns too, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No.
You talking about?
No, he didn't beat Roman. Okay.
Wait, are you talking about when Daniel Bryan was like on the come up?
Right. No. Like, not only on the come up, but on this road to WrestleMania. Right.
It was Evolution.
Specifically that.
It was Evolution, like Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton. It was those 3. He obviously no, talk about on the come up towards WrestleMania 30.
Yeah. But
yes.
Right. But my thing is but my thing is this. He only had, a number of moments, right? That you can say, okay, yeah, like, and it's easy to get lost in the sauce, right? But maintain that for a lengthy period of time, then you have you got my vote, right? He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer, but he's not going to be. See, this is what a first ballot Hall of Fame means. He ain't going to be in the same room as Hulk Hogan, as Cena, as Ric Flair, as The Rock, as Stone Cold. He ain't going to be in the same room as those guys.
No, he won't.
So right, the larger than life characters, yeah.
Yes, the guys that actually represented something that they were like, oh shit, like everybody like looked at them and said, oh shit, yeah, that guy's different. That guy's
and each one of those guys did something outside of the WWE.
Randy Orton, a freaking Edge, Chris Jericho will be your first ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Like, do you have that span, a career that spans generations that says, oh yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that, oh yeah, no, that guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer? The answer is no.
The answer is no.
The answer is no. He's a Hall of Famer. He'll probably get, I put him in after the second year. He's eligible.
Yeah.
But the first year,
no.
That's reserved for guys that have been on top for a really long time. The guys that are the staple.
To me, those are guys that also changed the game.
You can argue Daniel Bryan changed the game, man. You can argue Daniel Bryan did change the game. I did argue
Daniel Bryan changed the game. Go ahead.
He did change the game for smaller stature guys. But I can't give him all the credit because there was a guy once named Shawn Michaels, and I believe he kind of did it first. But hey, listen. Shawn Michaels, that's another first ballot Hall.
Oh no, for this generation, no. For this generation, it was CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. Shawn Michaels was the previous generation who did that.
But the thing is,
but they still had to wait a bit longer for that.
With making small guys relevant, Shawn was the first to be like, oh shit.
Whoa. You sure Michaels? Because I think to me, in terms of like real small guys, it was Rey Mysterio that did that.
No, Rey Mysterio, listen, Rey Mysterio is an outlier. Rey Mysterio is in a class by himself, okay? But I'm talking about I'm talking about guys, right? Cruiserweights here. I mean, Rey Mysterio was a cruiserweight, but I'm Ray. There's nobody. Hold up. There's nobody like Rey Mysterio. Literally. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So he's the outlier here. Outside of Rey Mysterio, guys like Shawn Michaels, guys like Cole, guys like Daniel Bryan, right? They're in the same class in terms of their stature. And I'm just saying Shawn, right, was the first one along those lines, right? You had Shawn, you had Bryan, you had Cole. Shawn Michaels was the first one to actually be like, okay, yeah, that's good.
Right. And guys like Daniel Bryan, right? Guys like Daniel Bryan and CM Punk,
right?
Later on, carried on into this generation.
Yes.
But okay, yes. But I want to get back to what Ken said.
But in terms of revolutionizing, that goes to Shawn Michaels. Shawn revolutionized the game for CM Punk, for Daniel Bryan, for Adam Cole. He was the one that revolutionized it. He was a trailblazer.
Yes. Right. He was the one who started it. But Bryan and Punk, you got to give them their just dues.
No, yeah, I mean, you have to. It's just not as impressive.
It's just not
as impressive because he was in the first one.
Right.
But I digress. Go ahead, Ricardo.
No. You guys already answered my question.
Okay. Got it. Just to close it off there, guys. Hey, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that you made all invalid points. You guys did make some solid points. End of the day, Daniel Bryan is still easily a first ballot Hall of Famer for me. And listen, it's at the end of the day, it's what you place more or less of an emphasis on towards.
I agree.
Impact, what you do outside of WWE.
I agree with that.
But this was a good, but this was a nice discussion to have.
I agree, man. Definitely.
And the last piece, Richard, go ahead, man. I keep forgetting. I'm in that old phase, like what we used to do earlier on in the show's history.
Good. So for the past couple of weeks, actually, I would say since late summer, SmackDown, everything that's going on the SmackDown side of things has been pretty much on point with the main event scene, women's division, storylines progressing, and so on and so forth. AEW, same thing, storyline progression, matches, all that. Now, this begs the question, since SmackDown right now is on the up and up, is starting with Kenny, is SmackDown right now better than AEW?
The answer is no. SmackDown in all its glory, you can probably look at it and say, if you tell me right now it's the best show, it's the best wrestling show on the planet, I probably wouldn't call you crazy. However, last time I checked, you need consistency to be the best show on the planet, and they just don't have that. Period. End of story. Let's move on.
To add to Kenny's point, I'd have to agree with him. I don't think that SmackDown is really all that. It's really no question for me that SmackDown is not better than AEW, in fact, because consistency is key. And apart from just looking back on AEW Dynamite's history and when have they really, when was their up and down periods? I don't recall a down period other than maybe 1 month in December last year where things were just kind of dead for them. But even throughout the pandemic, other than that, like Dynamite's been killing it with the weekly shows. You'll have an episode, like some episodes I should say are much better than others. Don't get me wrong, but the level of consistency is still pretty much there for the better for them. So unlike SmackDown, which the past few weeks or the past month or maybe two or so have been pretty interesting to say the least, but that is pretty much backed up mostly on the whole Roman Reigns thing with Paul Heyman. You take that out of SmackDown's lineup and their storylines and what they got planned, what else do you really have that's going to make you want to tune in to the SmackDown product consistently? That's all I have to say on that.
Obviously, we're all in agreement here because consistency is key. You need to have level of consistency due to your shows. AEW's been heavily consistent since the summer. SmackDown has just restarted growing consistency since the Roman Reigns turned heel thing. I mostly call it the Stone Cold Steve Austin factor due to the fact everyone's coming to watch one guy. solely to watch that show, right? Similar to what Austin did back in the day. But with AEW, I'm giving credit to AEW over here because AEW elevates their stars every week. Every single week, you see a single superstar being elevated, no matter the gender, no matter the division, no matter the title they're going after. Everyone's going after a certain goal. Everyone's being elevated. In terms of SmackDown, the consistency is like up and down. It's like 1 minute they're high, 1 minute they're low, and another week they're in between. But in terms of SmackDown, as much as I love what's been happening on SmackDown, and especially Roman Reigns, right? And my man Jey Uso finally joined the dark side of things. Jimmy's next, by the way. I can't wait for that. As of right now, as much as I love SmackDown, AEW got the cake. They got the W.
Hold on a minute, though, guys. Hold on a minute. See, if I had known that this was going to happen, I would have made it more interesting. Listen, listen. Let me advocate. Let me play devil's advocate here. Okay. What is it about AEW right now that is must see? Because I can't find anything on AEW that is must see television.
That's a good question.
There's nothing on AEW that screams must see. You can miss that shit and you'll still be fine. The sun will rise tomorrow and set in the afternoon. Okay.
Like for example,
all right.
like the episode that just passed.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
But SmackDown, ladies and well, Tara's not here. Gentlemen, SmackDown has, albeit one must-see segment, right? And that's what's going on with Roman right now, okay? And for that reason alone, I don't care what y'all say about consistency, okay? I don't care. Like, for right now, if SmackDown and AEW were on the same day,
I'm watching SmackDown.
most people will watch SmackDown.
No question.
End of story. It doesn't. It's not even close. Okay, so let's not sit here and act like consistency is a thing, right? But let's not act like must see trumps. Doesn't trump. Like, let's not act like must see does not trump consistency on some occasions.
Yeah.
Okay. On some occasions, you just got to look at a product and say, okay, like Austin was must see in the Attitude Era, right? Right. WCW may have been the better show, but Austin was must see. You can't miss that guy. No. So from that standpoint alone, it makes me want to lean towards SmackDown here, man, because listen, they have a puncher's chance. And what that pretty much means is one knockout, one punch can knock you out. You know, because the thing is, yeah, the overall show is not consistent. It's not great, right? It's not as consistent because AEW has more depth to their shows, right? But man, that big ass punch Roman throws at you when he's, when you watch him with Paul Heyman by his side and Jey Uso, I gotta tell you right now, man, that to me trumps everything that AEW is doing. Everything. And that's not a knock to AEW because they're great. But Roman's where it's at right now, man. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Rich.
To Kenny's point, consistency is great. AEW got that. SmackDown's up and down. But also, in terms of not only must-see stars, besides the TNT title that's going on in AEW, that's literally it for AEW right now. Also, since AEW loves the ratings so much, for AEW, like this week, they had under 800,000 viewers, and I just found out just now. I'm like, yo, because of Reigns, SmackDown just hit 2.1 because of Reigns, because he started the show and he ended the show. So to add to Kenny's
what was it last week?
Since last week they weren't on Fox. They were on FS1.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I'm talking about the ratings. Like, what was it?
The Raiders was
881.
low last week. The
They
Raiders
were.
was low because they were on
It was
FS1.
it was
Mhm.
low
So
last.
so
hold
that's a
on,
wash. We're not even counting that.
Okay. Copy that.
wait,
Copy that.
wait,
Copy that.
time. Wait, time. You say this is a wash, but they still beat AEW last week.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I mean, they're not. It's not like they're on the same night. So they're always going to beat AEW numbers.
Yep.
Well, yeah, they're in AEW numbers, but because of Reigns, I completely agree with Kenny, 100%. There's not one star right now in AEW that is like must see. Not one.
I agree.
Not even Moxley or even Cody. And they're champions.
Yeah.
Y'all got anything to say about that? Or y'all gonna keep y'all same energy?
Sure. This is my thing.
Okay.
I believe that if SmackDown and Dynamite were on the same night at the same time slot of the evening, I believe that what I would be doing, and this is just me, Roman Reigns starts off the show. If I know about it ahead of time, WWE announced it, whatever, on their Twitter account, I'm gonna. You bet your ass, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check out that Roman Reigns segment, and almost whatever else they put on after that. I'm tuning my ass right back to Dynamite for the rest of the show. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? But you know what? But you know what?
Well, you start, Kenny. You really gonna do that? I don't know if I would do that.
Most likely, yeah. Like, what is like? We were all just singing the shit out of Roman Reigns and the Jey Uso storyline.
No, but
besides that,
but,
you take that away from SmackDown. What the hell else do you have? It just makes everything. It just makes everything else look better by comparison because it's accompanying that storyline.
But here's what you need to understand, and this is why I call it the Stone Cold Steve Austin factor. Having one guy could change the complexity of the entire show, right? Change the complexity of the entire show. That's why I call it the Stone Cold Steve Austin factor. When Roman Reigns is on SmackDown handling his business as the tribal chief, it makes you tune in to watch. Yeah, I'm being honest with you. Richard could back me up on this one. I am not a SmackDown fan. But because of Roman Reigns, for the first time in weeks, I watched the entire show of SmackDown because of him. Because it makes every other feud become more intriguing because Roman Reigns is there. I'm more intrigued about the Sasha Banks feud. I'm more intrigued about the tag team feud leading up to Survivor Series. I'm more intrigued at what Kevin Owens is going to do. I'm more intrigued at what Bianca Belair was going to do. And most importantly, I'm more intrigued at what Jey Uso is going to do. Because Roman Reigns is there, change the complexity of every single feud, every single superstar that's going down on SmackDown. For the likes of AEW, I see, in terms of AEW, yes, they have a mixture of feuds, but it's separate. It's always the same. It's always the same with the what's it called, the Inner Circle, or exactly with the tag teams, or John Moxley, or Cody Rhodes. But with Roman Reigns, there's something different in SmackDown, there's something different in SmackDown that something has changed that you don't see in AEW when John Moxley's world champion. When John Moxley's champion, it's stellar. It's mediocre. It's stagnant. With Roman Reigns, there's a different attitude. There's a different ball game that you can see with everyone on SmackDown. And for example, look at Sasha Banks this past yesterday. When Sasha Banks just trolled Bayley yesterday, she was like, there's no backstabbing bitches here on SmackDown. You never had that attitude 2 weeks ago. You never had that.
Yep.
So it's changing.
Backstabbing bitches finish last or something like that.
That's what, you never had that on SmackDown.
And let me just just hit home what Ricardo just said. Listen, there's a trickle down effect with a guy like Roman. Like when you have that big of an impact, there's a trickle down effect, right? And what that does is the greatness kind of trickles down to everything else, right, that the show does. Now, not to say that the show was perfect last night, because it wasn't. Okay,
It wasn't.
there were still a few things here and there, but we had quality matches. Okay,
Yes.
quality matches with quality television on Friday night. Okay,
Yeah.
and it's been trending upward ever since Roman turned heel. Okay, all right, which means, right, there's an effect there. There's a great effect, a positive one, albeit not perfect, but a positive effect, right? And no one can deny that. So the trajectory that they're going right now for SmackDown, right, it has surpassed the trajectory that AEW currently is right now. AEW, it's hard for you to say they're trending upwards because they were never really trending downward either. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's not a roller coaster by any means, right? For AEW because they've been very consistent, very, very, and
Yes.
it's difficult for me to say this because I watch AEW, man, every week.
And they have the depth.
Yes, and they have the depth, the talent, and that, and to your point, Abba, yes, you'll turn off, the TV and tune in into something else.
If
tune
Dynamite
in
was
into
on at the same time,
is,
that's
right.
just what I
Exactly.
would say I would be doing.
Exactly.
Sure,
right.
sure.
But even you have to admit, right, that at the back of your mind, you're thinking, what if Roman comes out?
No,
Like he did last night.
You know what I mean?
Openly
admit that
at the end of the show,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely, yes.
So for me, right? For me, like if you were to let's say Roman came on last, right? If you tuned into AEW first, right? There's still that feeling of, I'm thinking about SmackDown. Like I have to turn back to SmackDown, when AEW has the last segment because Roman's off. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you're still sacrificing. You're still sacrificing something, right? In the event that Roman comes up, because that's just the presence that he has, right?
Right.
And no one on AEW has that. And I'm just saying, that's the puncher's chance you have, man. That's it. Even though they only have one guy, and you've said that, even though they only have one guy, that one guy is better than anything AEW presents right now.
And to be honest with you, remember, like back to, I also want to say this about based on what I was saying about what you want to see differently with the other stars, based on one guy, the Stone Cold Factor, aka Roman Reigns. As of right now, you can make based on what happened last night on SmackDown. For AEW's fire. I always will love AEW. They're consistent. Their depth, their talent is elite. But thanks to Roman Reigns, we are looking at a Jey Uso very differently right now. Mm-hmm. We're talking about. Kenny could back me up on this point. You know what it reminds you of? To a small degree, but also it gives you that much attention. I'm calling it the Jeff Hardy factor. In the Usos, we're looking at Jey Uso right now. Oh no, don't tell me to rush. This is very important, Abba.
Wait, huh?
I'm on a time limit. Hurry up.
Jey Uso right now, we're looking at him as like similar to a Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy at the time, when he was a singles competitor, was fucking elite. We saw him in the lengths of when he was with Reigns, Robert with Taker, Edge, CM Punk, the whole 9 yards. Despite Jey Uso is in the Survivor Series team, this dude might be in a rivalry with Daniel Bryan, possibly based on what he did last night. Okay, we are looking at him very differently, and it's very interesting to see on how they're gonna handle Jey Uso. And that's why Roman Reigns deserves a boatload of credit of what's going down on SmackDown, because he changed the environment of SmackDown by himself with the help of Paul Heyman. Because I always tell this to Richard, whoever controls the conversation controls the conversation, but whoever controls the environment controls the complexity of what's going down. Roman Reigns did that last night, and he's doing that right now with Sasha Banks. He's doing that with Jey Uso. He's doing that with Kevin Owens to a lesser degree. He's doing that with Bayley. He's doing it with a plethora of stars that's handling their business that they were supposed to do last year, that they're now doing it this year that's now making SmackDown must-see television because of the tribal chief of Roman Reigns. Now, Abba, you can end it. That's what I wanted to say. Damn, I'm sweating bullets hyping up Roman Reigns.
Well,
God
yeah.
damn.
It was, you were talking about Jeff Hardy and Steve Austin, yeah, and Roman, of course.
Because it's very comparable to the two.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. With those points you made, yeah, I could see it.
Whew, I'm hyped.
Yeah. We'll end it there for this episode. Hope you all enjoyed episode 42 of Wrestling Hypothesis. Be sure to follow us on Facebook or Instagram for any updates on the show, as well as on news reports on wrestling that you can find out through us. Speaking of Instagram, keep an eye out on our story for the page, as we will definitely be posting up something in terms of a poll for these discussions. Daniel Bryan being a first ballot Hall of Famer, yes or no? And yeah, we would love to get your takes on that. What do you guys?
I'm not.
Be interesting to see what you guys think.
The yes will be so fucking overwhelming. I can feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
I can feel
it's gonna be crazy.
Because no one is gonna think about this through. Like, no one is gonna be thinking about, ooh, does he deserve to be in the same room as the Undertaker or John Cena?
Well,
or,
would it help
or
if we
Edge,
posted?
or
would it be helpful if we posted the poll after we release the episodes so people can get a chance to watch us?
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
better.
I think that's a better idea in general. Yeah, we could do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be done. So expect that, guys, and we'll be back sometime in the week for another edition of Extra. So until then, take care, guys. Have a good one.
Later. Peace.